The chosen ones, those who are destined for greatness, walk a path that others are afraid to tread. It's not because they're better or stronger, it's because they've been called to something higher, something beyond the ordinary. And that path, that path is one that demands more than just skill, more than just talent. It demands courage, commitment, and unwavering belief in themselves, even when the world tells them they're crazy for trying. Most people, when faced with an opportunity to stand out, hesitate. They see the risks, they see the obstacles, they see the chance to fail. And for many, that's enough to hold them back. It's comfortable to stay in the crowd, to blend in, to do what everyone else is doing. But not the chosen ones. They see what others can't see. They see the future, they see the impact. And most importantly, they see the work required to get there. They know that greatness is not handed to you on a silver platter. It's earned through sweat, sacrifice, and relentless pursuit of a vision. The chosen ones have a fire within them that doesn't go out, no matter how difficult the journey becomes. They know that walking their path won't be easy. They know that it's not about the praise, the applause, or the recognition. It's about something much deeper purpose. It's about knowing deep down that this is what they were made for, and that no matter the cost, they will keep pushing forward. The path to greatness is not the easy road. In fact, it's the hardest road you can take. The world is full of distractions, doubters, and setbacks. There are days when it feels like everything is working against you. And that's when most people throw in the towel. But the chosen ones, they press on. They don't quit. They don't look back. They keep going, even when no one else understands. They understand that greatness isn't about following the crowd. It's about being willing to be different, to take risks, to make sacrifices that others won't make. It's about looking at the world and deciding that you're going to do something extraordinary with your life. You're not going to settle. You're not going to fit in. You're going to rise above the noise and carve out your own path, no matter how hard it may be. Because here's the thing, when you're called to something greater, the road is always going to be tough. But it's that toughness that builds your strength. It's that resistance that shapes your character. And in the end, it's that path that leads you to the place where others can only dream of going. The chosen ones know this. They understand that the path they walk is often lonely, often misunderstood, but always worth it. They know that greatness isn't about the destination. It's about the journey of staying true to who you are, staying focused on your purpose, and pushing forward when the rest of the world is too scared to even take the first step. So if you're called to that path, don't hesitate. Walk it with everything you've got. Because the world needs what you have to offer. And the only way to reach that greatness is to be willing to walk alone, if that's what it takes. Greatness, my friends, is often a lonely road. It's not the road you'll find packed with people cheering you on. Not the road that's filled with applause and validation at every turn. No, greatness is often accompanied by solitude, a quiet, sometimes deafening solitude, because the path you take to become great is one that demands sacrifice and focus, not distractions and noise. When you decide to step into your calling, to chase something bigger than yourself, you quickly realize that not everyone will understand. Not everyone will be there to pat you on the back or celebrate every step of the way. You'll face moments where it feels like you're walking alone, where the people who once surrounded you start to fade into the background. You'll face moments where the phone doesn't ring, the messages stop coming, and the friends disappear. But here's the thing that's okay. Greatness requires you to be comfortable with being alone, because in those quiet moments, something extraordinary happens. You begin to hear your own thoughts. You begin to understand your true desires. You start to sharpen your vision and focus on what really matters. When you're surrounded by noise, by people, by distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what you're really working toward. But when it's just you and your dreams, that's when you find clarity. You see, people talk a lot about success, but not many are willing to talk about the price you have to pay to get there. The chosen ones, the ones who truly understand what it takes to be great, they know that the sacrifice isn't just time or money, it's people. It's friendships. It's social gatherings. It's saying no to things that others think are important so you can say yes to your purpose. And it's in those moments of solitude when no one else is around that you find your strength. Greatness isn't about relying on others to keep you motivated. It's about finding that fire within yourself and knowing that no matter what happens, you've got what it takes to keep going. When the crowds are gone, when the applause fades, it's your drive, your passion, and your dedication that will push you forward. In solitude, you come to realize that the road to greatness isn't about following the pack. It's about forging your own path, about walking through the storm while everyone else waits for the clouds to part. It's about standing firm in your belief in yourself, even when no one else sees what you see. So yes, greatness is often accompanied by solitude, but that solitude is not a curse. It's a blessing in disguise. It's where you find your true strength, where you discover the power to push through when no one else is watching. The crowds might be there at the start, but they won't be with you for the long haul. And that's okay, because greatness isn't about the crowd. It's about you, your journey, and your commitment to something bigger than yourself. Embrace the solitude, because in the silence you'll find the loudest call to greatness that you could ever hear. The journey to something greater isn't for the faint of heart. It's a road that requires not just effort, but a level of sacrifice and focus that many aren't willing to give. See, greatness doesn't come easy. It's not about taking the shortcuts or finding the easy way out. It's about putting in the work when no one is watching, making decisions that aren't always popular, and saying no to things that feel good in the moment but hold you back from your purpose. Sacrifice is a word that gets tossed around a lot, but very few understand what it really means. Sacrifice is about giving up the comfort, the distractions, the things that would make life easier in exchange for something greater. It's about choosing to wake up early when you'd rather sleep in, choosing to push through when your body and mind are screaming for a break. It's about putting your dreams ahead of your instant gratification, because you understand that what you're building today is the foundation for the future you're creating. When you're focused on something bigger than yourself, it means making choices that aren't always easy. It means saying goodbye to things you love, relationships, opportunities, or pleasures that might feel good in the short term but will ultimately pull you off course. It's about setting your eyes on the prize and never losing sight of that vision, even when the world around you is telling you to take a detour. Focus is the other side of the coin. You can sacrifice all day long, but if you don't stay focused on what really matters, your sacrifices are meaningless. Focus is the ability to zero in on your goal, to block out all the noise, to shut down the distractions, and to pour everything you have into the task at hand. It's about saying no to things that don't align with your purpose and saying yes to those things that push you toward it. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind, in the chaos of life, in the opinions of others. But those who achieve greatness are the ones who can see through the noise. They're the ones who know exactly what they want, and they're willing to sacrifice anything and everything to get there. It's that laser-sharp focus that allows them to stay on course even when the storms come, even when the doubts creep in. Greatness requires you to sacrifice what others won't. It requires you to focus on the bigger picture when everyone else is focused on the small, temporary pleasures. It's a long game, and it's one that demands patience, resilience, and the strength to stay committed even when it feels like nothing is happening. It's a journey that will challenge you, test you, and push you beyond your limits. But if you're willing to sacrifice the things that hold you back and stay focused on the path ahead, you will find that greatness is not just a dream. It's a reality waiting for you to claim it. When you decide to chase something bigger than yourself, when you decide to pursue a dream that others can't see, you better be ready for the people who will question your choices. It's inevitable. People will doubt your vision. They'll tell you it's too big, too risky, too impossible. They'll throw obstacles in your path, not because they want to see you fail, but because they can't see what you see. And that's the problem. Most people live in a world that's comfortable. They're fine with mediocrity. They're fine with settling for what's in front of them because it's safe. And when you decide to break free from that, when you decide to go after something that's bigger than what everyone else is chasing, they won't understand. They won't get it. And they'll question everything you're doing. But that's okay. You can't let their doubts shake you. You can't let their voices drown out the one voice that matters, your own. The world is full of critics. People who will tell you why your dream won't work, why your idea is flawed, why you should just go back to doing what everyone else is doing. But here's the thing, if you listen to them, if you let their doubt infiltrate your mind, you'll never get anywhere. People will question your choices because they don't understand the sacrifices you're making. They don't see the work you're putting in when the doors are closed and the lights are off. They don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the relentless pursuit of your goal. They don't see the battles you're fighting internally to stay focused, to stay driven, to stay true to your vision. They don't know the heart and soul you've poured into your dream. They don't understand that your vision isn't just a plan, it's a mission. It's something you believe in so deeply that you'd sacrifice anything to see it come to life. And that's something they can't comprehend because they haven't felt it themselves. So what do you do when people doubt you? You keep moving forward. You keep your eyes on the prize and keep doing the work. You don't waste time trying to convince them, trying to get their approval. You show them through your actions. You let your results speak louder than your words ever could. There will always be doubters. There will always be people who try to pull you back into the comfort zone. But the chosen ones, the ones who are destined for greatness, they don't listen to the naysayers. They don't need anyone else to believe in their vision. All they need is themselves, their belief, and their willingness to push forward no matter what. Remember this, people will question your choices and doubt your vision because they're not meant to understand it. It's not their dream, it's yours. And as long as you stay committed, stay focused, and keep moving forward, you'll eventually show them that the vision you had all along was never too big, never too risky, and never too impossible. You just had to trust it enough to make it happen. Loneliness, my friends, is something that many of us fear. We've all heard that saying, no man is an island, and for the most part, that's true. We all need connections. We all need support. But here's the truth that most won't tell you: loneliness is also a part of the growth process. It's an essential part of becoming who you were always meant to be, because it's in those moments of solitude where you truly discover your strength, your focus, and your purpose. When you're called to do something great, something bigger than yourself, there's going to be times when you have to stand alone. People won't always understand your vision. They won't always see the sacrifices you're making or the work you're putting in when no one is watching. And in those moments when everyone else is going one way and you're going in a different direction, you'll find yourself alone. But that's okay. Loneliness isn't something to fear. It's a signal that you're on the right path. Because let's be honest, the path to greatness is rarely crowded. It's not the road that most people take because it's tough, it's demanding, it requires grit and determination. Most people won't have the courage to walk it with you. And that's where loneliness comes in. It's the space where you're able to grow, to reflect, and to push forward without distractions. In those quiet, lonely moments, you'll discover things about yourself that you never knew were there. You'll discover a level of resilience, a level of focus, a level of drive that you never knew you had. It's in the silence where you hear your true voice, the one that tells you to keep going when the world tells you to quit. It's in those moments of solitude that you find out who you really are, what you're really made of. See, when you're surrounded by people, it's easy to rely on them for motivation, for support, for direction. But when you're alone, when there's no one else around to cheer you on or tell you what to do next, you learn to rely on yourself. You learn to trust your instincts, to trust your vision, and to keep moving forward, even when it feels like no one else believes in you. Loneliness is part of the process because it forces you to confront the things inside you that need to change. It forces you to dig deeper, to push harder, to face your fears and doubts head on. It's in those lonely moments that you become the person you need to be in order to succeed. So don't fear loneliness, embrace it. Understand that it's a sign of growth, a sign that you're doing the work that others won't do. And when you come out of that solitude, when you've faced your own challenges and risen to meet them, you'll be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the greatness that's waiting for you. The road to success is often a lonely one, but it's also the road that leads to everything you've ever dreamed of. The chosen ones don't need validation from others. They never did, and they never will. You see, when you know who you are, when you have a clear vision of where you're headed, the opinions of others become irrelevant. People will talk, they'll criticize, they'll doubt, and sometimes they'll even try to tear you down. But none of that matters when you've already validated yourself. When you're on a mission to achieve something great, the last thing you should be seeking is approval from the people around you. You don't need the crowd to cheer you on every step of the way. You don't need the likes or the applause. You don't need others to tell you that you're on the right path. You know it. You feel it deep down in your soul. The world is full of distractions and noise. It's easy to get caught up in what other people think and what they want from you and how they expect you to show up. But the chosen ones, they don't let that stuff derail them. They don't seek validation from the world because they already know who they are and what they're capable of. They have a deep belief in themselves that no amount of doubt from others can shake. When you're trying to change your life, when you're trying to do something that's never been done before, you've got to be prepared to stand alone. You've got to be willing to face the doubt, the skepticism, the criticism, and keep moving forward anyway. If you're looking for validation from the people around you, you're not going to make it. Because not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will get why you're doing what you're doing. But when you're grounded in who you are, when you're clear on your mission, that doesn't matter. You don't need their approval. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to keep your eyes on the goal, stay focused on the path ahead, and do the work. When you show up with that kind of confidence, when you operate from a place of inner knowing, people will start to notice. They'll see the results. They'll see the strength in your character. And that's when they'll start to believe in you. But by then, it won't even matter. You've already proven to yourself that you're capable of everything you set out to do. The truth is, the people who are destined for greatness, the ones who are truly chosen to do something remarkable, don't need anyone else to tell them they're on the right track. They know. They trust their own judgment. They trust their own abilities. And that trust is what keeps them going when the rest of the world is doubting, when the road gets tough, when the silence gets loud. So stop looking for validation from others. The moment you stop seeking it, the moment you start validating yourself, that's when you unlock the power to achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. The chosen ones don't need anyone else's approval. They have the only validation that matters, the one that comes from within. Solitude is something many of us try to avoid. We live in a world that's always moving, always noisy, always demanding our attention. We're constantly surrounded by people, distractions, and opinions. And in that chaos, it can be hard to hear your own thoughts, let alone your true calling. But here's the true solitude, is where you find your power. It's in the quiet, the stillness, that you can hear your inner voice, the one that's been there all along, waiting for you to listen. When you're constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to get lost in the noise. It's easy to let the opinions and judgments of others drown out your own. But when you step away from the crowd, when you embrace the solitude, you create the space you need to truly hear yourself. In that silence, you can tune out everything that doesn't serve you and focus on what truly matters: your dreams, your goals, your purpose. You see, your inner voice is always there. It's the voice that tells you when you're on the right path, the one that pushes you to keep going when everyone else tells you to quit. But you can't hear it if you're constantly distracted, constantly seeking approval, constantly looking to others for answers. That's why solitude is so important. It forces you to stop, to listen, and to trust what you hear. In solitude, you confront the real you. You face your fears, your doubts, your insecurities head on, and in doing so, you uncover your true strength. You begin to realize that everything you need to succeed, every ounce of power, every bit of clarity, is already inside of you. You just have to be quiet enough to hear it. This is where your true power lies, not in the noise of the world, not in the opinions of others, but in the quiet confidence you gain when you learn to trust yourself. Solitude allows you to tap into that power, to embrace who you really are, and to step into your greatness. It's in those moments of stillness that you find the courage to make decisions that others won't understand, to take risks that others won't take, and to stay committed to your journey when the world tries to pull you off course. Now, solitude isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable. It forces you to confront things you'd rather ignore. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because when you push through the discomfort, when you face the truth of who you are, you emerge stronger. You emerge clearer. You emerge with a sense of purpose that nothing can shake. So embrace the solitude. Don't run from it. It's in those quiet moments that you'll discover the power within you, the power to take control of your life, to build your future, and to achieve the greatness that's waiting for you. In solitude, you hear your inner voice loud and clear. And once you hear it, nothing can stop you. The chosen ones stand apart because they see the world differently. They don't look at things the way most people do. They don't get caught up in the same distractions, the same routines, the same limited thinking that keeps everyone else stuck in place. They've got a different lens, a different perspective, one that allows them to see opportunities where others see obstacles, potential where others see failure. They look at the world and see possibility. It's not that they're special in the traditional sense. They're not born with some magical gift that makes them different from everyone else. What sets them apart is their ability to think outside the box, to challenge the status quo, to look at the same situation and come up with a completely different solution. While others are stuck playing small, the chosen ones are thinking big, and that's why they stand out. When you're called to something greater, when you're meant for more, the world will often try to pull you back into its way of thinking. People will tell you to follow the crowd, to do things the way they've always been done, to play it safe. But those who are destined for greatness, they don't follow the crowd. They create their own path. They don't see life through the same lens as everyone else because they've learned to question the norms, to break free from the limitations that hold most people back. They see a world full of possibilities. While others are looking for reasons why something can't be done, the chosen ones are looking for ways to make it happen. They've got a vision that's bigger than what's in front of them, a vision that goes beyond the immediate. They're not chasing after the next paycheck or the next trend. They're focused on building something meaningful, something that will stand the test of time. And because of that, they stand apart. They're not afraid to be different, to be bold, to be unapologetically themselves. It's all about perspective. The chosen ones don't just look at the world with their eyes, they see with their mind and their heart. They feel what's possible even when others can't. When they encounter adversity, they don't see it as a roadblock. They see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become stronger. When others are ready to quit, they dig in their heels and keep pushing forward. They know that their vision isn't just a dream, it's a mission. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to bring it to life. Standing apart isn't easy. It's lonely at times, it's uncomfortable. But that discomfort is where growth happens. It's in the moments when everyone else is following the herd that the chosen ones rise above the noise. They don't just see the world differently, they change the world because they refuse to see it the same way as everyone else. So, if you're feeling like you're different, like you don't fit in, remember this: the chosen ones stand apart for a reason. They see the world in a way that others can't. And it's that vision, that ability to see beyond the ordinary, that will lead them to do extraordinary things. Loneliness. Something many of us try to avoid at all costs. It's uncomfortable, it's isolating, and it feels like something's missing. But let me tell you something you might not want to hear. Loneliness is actually a sign you're on the right path. If you're feeling it, it's because you're doing something others aren't willing to do. You're walking a road that's not crowded, not filled with distractions or opinions. It's a road less traveled, and that's where the magic happens. When you choose to pursue greatness, when you step away from the crowd and decide to go after something that truly matters to you, there's a price to pay. And that price is loneliness. It's not always easy to be the one who's going in a different direction while everyone else is following the same old routine. It's hard when you're out there on your own, grinding, working, sacrificing, and most people around you don't get it. They don't understand the dream you're chasing. They don't see what's in your heart, so they don't know the work it takes to bring it to life. And in those moments, it can feel lonely. But that loneliness, it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It's proof that you're on the right track, because when you're doing something that's never been done before, when you're striving for something bigger than what most people are even willing to imagine, you have to expect to be alone sometimes. You have to expect to be misunderstood. It's in those quiet moments when you're by yourself that you do the real work. That's when you dig deep and pull out the strength and the focus you need to keep going. That's when you grow. Loneliness gives you the space to connect with yourself, to listen to your own voice, to hear what your heart is telling you. It's in the silence that you discover who you truly are, what you're capable of, and why you're here. You can't find that out when you're constantly surrounded by people, constantly looking for their approval, constantly trying to fit in. It's when you embrace solitude that you learn to trust your own instincts, your own judgment, and your own power. Here's the truth: if you're not experiencing some loneliness along the way, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. The greatest achievers, the ones who accomplish the unthinkable, don't have time for distractions. They don't have time for the noise. They're focused on their vision. And that focus can often feel like a lonely place to be. But let me tell you something, those moments of solitude are shaping you. They're making you stronger. They're preparing you for the greatness you're about to step into. So don't shy away from loneliness. Embrace it. Understand that it's part of the process. It's part of becoming the person you were meant to be. It's a sign that you're not afraid to be different, to do things your way, to follow your own path. And when you look back, you'll realize that those lonely moments were the very times that shaped you into the force you are today. Loneliness isn't a weakness, it's a symbol of strength. I know. We've been taught that loneliness is something to be avoided. Society tells us that if we're alone, something's wrong with us, like we're missing out on the good stuff in life. But let me flip the script for you. Loneliness is not the enemy, it's a badge of honor. It's proof that you're standing in your own power, doing things on your terms, and not relying on anyone else's validation. You see, the world is full of distractions. People are always looking for the next person to hang with, the next social event to attend, the next group to be a part of. But the moment you step away from the crowd, When you find yourself walking a path that's different from the one everyone else is on, that's when loneliness shows up. And instead of running from it, you need to embrace it. It means you're doing something that others aren't willing to do. You're focused on your goals, you're building something that matters. And you're not afraid to walk alone if that's what it takes to get where you need to go. Loneliness is a sign that you're not afraid of the work. The chosen ones, the ones who are going to change the world, don't always have people around them cheering them on. In fact, many times they're doing the work in silence, far from the spotlight, with no one to lean on but themselves. But that's where true strength is born. It's in those moments when you're standing alone, grinding it out, pushing through when no one else believes in you. That's when you find out what you're really made of. When you face loneliness, you're forced to dig deep. You can't hide behind anyone else's success. You can't ride the coattails of someone else's achievements. You have to build your own. You have to trust yourself, your instincts, your vision. And when you do that, when you stand in that solitude and realize you don't need anyone else's approval, that's when the real power comes. You're not waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay. You know it's okay. You've got a vision, and you're walking towards it with or without the support of others. But here's the thing, this loneliness doesn't last forever. The people who are willing to stand alone for a while are the ones who make the biggest impact. They put in the work when no one's watching. And when it's time, when the world starts to see what they've been building, they realize they were never weak for being alone. They were strong for trusting the process, for staying true to their vision, and for believing in themselves when no one else did. So don't ever let anyone make you feel like loneliness is a weakness. It's not. It's the sign of someone who's committed, someone who's got a purpose, someone who's willing to do what it takes to make their dreams a reality. And when you come out on the other side, when you've built something that's yours, you'll realize that loneliness wasn't just a phase, it was your foundation. It was the time you spent sharpening your strength and your focus. That's what made you who you are. The path to greatness is rarely easy, but it is always worth it. Let's be clear, nothing that's truly worth having comes without a fight. Nothing. If you're looking for an easy way to the top, you're wasting your time. The road to greatness is filled with obstacles, setbacks, doubts, and moments when you'll question if it's all even worth it. But here's the reality: if you're not facing those challenges, if you're not being tested, then you're not on the right path. Greatness doesn't just fall into your lap. It's not something that's handed to you. It's something you earn through sweat, through sacrifice, through pushing yourself beyond your limits. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about putting in the work, grinding when no one's watching, and being relentless even when it feels like the world is against you. There are days when it's going to feel too hard. You'll be tired, you'll be frustrated, and you'll wonder if all the effort is even going to pay off. You'll face failures that hit you hard, times when everything you've worked for seems to be slipping through your fingers. But that's the test. That's where most people give up. They let the pain, the struggle, and the setbacks convince them that they don't have what it takes. But not the ones destined for greatness. They understand that these struggles are part of the process. They know that the hard days are what shape you, what build your character, what make you strong. If it was easy, everyone would do it. If greatness was something you could get without putting in the work, without facing the challenges, it wouldn't mean anything. But it's the struggle, the climb, the moments when you want to quit but keep going anyway that give greatness its meaning. When you finally reach the top, when you look back at all you've been through, that's when it hits you the sacrifices were worth it. The pain was worth it. The struggle was worth it. And here's the thing, it's not just about the destination, it's about who you become along the way. It's about the strength you build, the resilience you develop, the lessons you learn. Greatness isn't just a goal to achieve, it's a process that transforms you into someone you never thought you could be. You'll find out more about yourself in the tough times than you ever would in the easy ones. You'll discover a strength inside of you that you didn't even know existed. So yeah, the path to greatness is tough. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for those who want the quick win, the shortcut, the easy way out. But if you're willing to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets, if you're willing to stay in the fight, even when it feels like it's never going to end, then that greatness is yours. And when you reach it, when you look back at all the obstacles you've overcome, all the times you thought about quitting but didn't, you'll know it was worth every step, every single one. True greatness is achieved when you're willing to walk alone. That's right, if you want to do something that's never been done before, if you want to achieve what others say can't be done, you have to be ready to walk a path that's yours and yours alone. It's not going to be the easiest road. In fact, it's going to be tough. People won't understand. They won't get your vision. They'll question your decisions, doubt your every move, and try to pull you back into the fold. But if you want greatness, you've got to have the courage to keep walking, even when you're the only one on that road. The truth is, most people will follow the crowd. They'll do what's comfortable, what's safe, what's already been done. But greatness doesn't come from following the herd. It comes from stepping outside the box, doing something different, creating something that the world hasn't seen before. And that's a lonely place to be. When you're chasing something big, something that's never been done, you won't have many people walking alongside you. You'll be out there by yourself, trying to figure things out, facing challenges that no one else sees. But that's exactly where you need to be if you're going to achieve something extraordinary. Walking alone isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It means you've got a vision, and you're not waiting for anyone to validate it. You're not looking for approval from the crowd. You're doing it because you believe in it, because you know it's what you're meant to do. When you walk alone, you learn to trust yourself. You learn to rely on your own strength, your own determination. You don't need anyone else to tell you that you're on the right path, because you already know. And when you keep moving forward, even when it feels like you're all alone in this fight, that's when the world starts to see your greatness. Here's the thing, the people who achieve greatness don't get there by fitting in. They get there by standing out. They get there by doing things that others aren't willing to do. They're willing to make sacrifices, to face rejection, to deal with the loneliness, because they know that on the other side is something bigger than they could ever imagine. They know that the discomfort of walking alone is temporary, but the greatness they're building is permanent. Walking alone means you have to be strong in your own conviction. It means you can't be swayed by the opinions of others. You have to trust your gut, trust your vision, and keep pushing forward, even when everything in you says to quit. Because here's the truth, no one who ever achieved greatness did it with a crowd cheering them on the whole time. No, the true trailblazers walked alone. They did it because they had no other choice. They were driven by a purpose that was bigger than them, and that purpose fueled them when the road was tough and the journey seemed endless. So, if you're walking alone, if you're facing the struggles, the doubts, and the loneliness that comes with going after something big, don't be discouraged. Understand that you're right where you need to be. True greatness is achieved when you're willing to walk alone, and when you do, you'll realize that you're not just walking toward your goals, you're walking toward your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want greatness, be prepared to walk alone. It's not going to be easy. The road will be long, the challenges many, and the doubts will be loud. But remember this, it's in those lonely moments that you'll discover your true strength, your true purpose. The path you're walking isn't meant to be crowded, it's meant for those who are willing to stand apart, to believe in themselves even when no one else does. Greatness isn't about being surrounded by a crowd. It's about having the courage to take that first step when no one else is with you, and the perseverance to keep moving forward when the world tries to pull you back. You're not walking alone forever. When the world sees what you've built, when they see what you've overcome, they'll realize that you were never truly alone. You were just ahead of the curve. So keep walking, keep pushing, and keep believing. Your greatness is waiting on the other side of that loneliness. And when you finally get there, you'll understand why the journey was worth every step.